In today's video, I am going to be reviewing this cookbook, Hope's Table. I will tell you about the pros, the cons, and my overall rating of this cookbook. As you can see, I have used this cookbook a lot. I've probably made about 85% of the recipes in here, and I've had it for almost a year now. So I feel very qualified to sit down and tell you about this cookbook. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I like to do videos on cooking and kitchen related things. So the pros of this cookbook. First of all, I really like how it's very simplistic. Most of the ingredients you already have in your kitchen. I've found a lot of times when you find a recipe on Pinterest, by the time you find the ingredients that you need, it's kind of like, oh, this is gonna need to go buy this specific kind of oil or this spice, where she really uses ingredients that you already probably have or already buy. Like for example, for some of her gravies, you just do like the drippings from meat, flour, milk. You don't have to go like buy brown gravy mix or go buy like beef bouillon or anything crazy. It's simple ingredients, but like really good recipes. So that was one thing I really liked about it, is the simple ingredients, good recipes. And the other thing I really enjoyed is how it's laid out. The pages are super glossy and like thin. They're easy to flip through. Each recipe, you can look at it, you can see the title, bam, you can see the ingredients listed and the directions. And there's maybe a little blurb from the author. But I just like how it is easy just to like see the whole thing, see what you need, and you don't have to read through any like quotes or any long stories. Sometimes these cookbook authors get really carried away with telling you about like when they first had this food and why it's in it. And I just like that Hope gives you a sprinkle of personality. You kind of feel like you get to know her, but she's not like, here's my whole life. I've come to see Hope as kind of like a quiet little kitchen mentor. Like she's kind of there and she's like, hey, if you do this, it'll taste good. But she's not like in your face. Anyways, I do kind of feel like Hope has been my little cooking mentor, because I've just really learned a lot from this cookbook. And especially with bread making, I feel like I've learned a lot just from here. It's like a very good place to start if you don't have super much experience. Well, I will say there wasn't really anything crazy in the breakfast category. Kind of your very basic breakfast meals, so that's fine. Like, whatever, that's not terrible. We can get over that. A few of the recipes are hard to follow. I do think this is partially because bread making can be hard to give exact specific directions when it's actually really based on like knowledge. She has a recipe for pretzel buns, and she says like you really want to get the timing right. Like the timing is really important, but then she doesn't really give you like guidelines for how to know if you got the timing right. So that one I was a little bit confused on. Also, she has a recipe for pie crust, and I've tried to make it probably 3 times, and every time it's just been a crumbly mess. And every time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna really read the directions this time, and I still end up with a crumbly mess. Nothing like the picture she shows. So I think you get that in any cookbook though, especially considering how many recipes there are in here. There's a lot of pork chop recipes and a lot of chicken recipes, so I haven't tried them all, but you know, it's always good to have ideas, I guess. The other thing is that this is a Mennonite author. I don't know so much about Mennonite culture, but it does seem like they are kind of old school and like preserving their food. She has a section on canning, and kind of like they farm some of their own food, and so it seems like they have a little bit more equipment than you would have in your average kitchen. Just the tomato soup recipe I was gonna make, and then it said to like blend the tomatoes or whatever and then run it through a food mill. I don't really know what a food mill is. I'd imagine if you are living that type of lifestyle, you have a little bit more equipment for preserving foods. So that was just because the tomato soup looked really good to make, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna buy a food mill just for one recipe. I don't know. And the last con, so this isn't a con for me, but if you are like a busy mom, you don't have very much time, you're like, I need quick, I need simple, I need easy. These recipes are, some of them might hit your window, but more, it's just really good food. But some of these recipes are kind of laborious and they do take a while. She has a chicken teriyaki recipe, chicken teriyaki and stir fry type of thing. And you make your teriyaki sauce from scratch, and you make the like yum yum sauce from scratch, as well as like cooking up the chicken, cutting up all the vegetables, making the rice, you know, the whole meal deal. It does end up feeling like, like you're kind of just like really having to put a lot of effort in. So if you're looking for like fast, quick, easy, this is not the recipe for you. I would recommend you do the cookbook called Cook Once, Eat All Week. That one is very big on time saving and like meal prepping. Well, meal quality and the taste and everything was so much better from here. But, you know, just depends on what you're looking for. One other thing is some of these recipes have lard in them, which she says you can just use like shortening, like Crisco instead, but I feel left out, and I'm like, what if this recipe would taste better if I had lard? I don't know where to get lard. Anyways, so my overall review of this cookbook is I give it 4.8 out of 5 stars. And really I'm just docking off points because I'm not a Mennonite with the same exact things as Hope. So I highly, highly recommend this cookbook. It's my favorite cookbook I have ever used. It's very, very well worn and loved. And I just have come to really feel like I know the author. This Hope Hellmuth, she's kind of just like your quiet kitchen coach. This is really great if you are kind of starting out cooking and you just need like building blocks. Is also great if you just want more recipes to try and you're a seasoned cook. And if you love beautiful pictures, definitely check this one out. I'm gonna link it down below. Anyways, I really love this cookbook. I hope you enjoyed my cookbook review and you feel inspired to go buy it because it is worth the $20. Absolutely.